The Caravaggisti movement emerged in the early 17th century, drawing its name from the influential Italian Baroque painter, Caravaggio. Known for his dramatic use of light and shadow, Caravaggio's innovative techniques and realistic depictions of human figures left a lasting impact on a generation of artists. The movement began around 1600, shortly after Caravaggio's rise to prominence in Rome, and continued to influence artists until the 1650s. Rome was the central hub of the Caravaggisti movement, where many of Caravaggio's followers worked and studied. The influence of the movement also spread to other major Italian cities, and later to Utrecht in the Netherlands. The dissemination of Caravaggio's style was facilitated by the mobility of artists and the exchange of ideas across Europe. Cities like Paris and Madrid also saw the influence of Caravaggisti artists, integrating the dramatic chiaroscuro into their local traditions. The movement began to wane by the mid-17th century as the Baroque style evolved and other artistic trends gained prominence. However, the legacy of the Caravaggisti remained significant, influencing later Baroque artists and contributing to the development of dramatic realism in European art. The Caravaggisti movement in Italy attracted many followers who sought to emulate and expand upon Caravaggio's groundbreaking techniques. These artists applied Caravaggio's intense realism and dramatic lighting to a variety of subjects including religious scenes, mythological themes, and everyday life. Among the leading figures of the movement in Italy were Oratzio Gentileschi, Artemisia Gentileschi, and Battistello Caracciollo. Oratzio Gentileschi adopted Caravaggio's dramatic use of light and shadow in his paintings. His works often feature realistic detail and emotional depth, portraying scenes with a striking sense of immediacy. As an important figure in Baroque art, he influenced artists outside Italy, particularly in England and France, through his international commissions and collaborations. Artemisia Gentileschi, the daughter of Oratzio Gentileschi, was a prominent Caravaggisti painter. She adopted Caravaggio's dramatic use of light and shadow, creating powerful and realistic depictions of her subjects. Known for her strong, expressive works, Artemisia became one of the most celebrated female artists of the Baroque period. Her paintings often featured dramatic biblical and mythological scenes, highlighting strong female figures. Battistello Caracciollo was a key figure in the movement in Naples. He adopted Caravaggio's dramatic use of light and shadow and intense realism in his own religious and mythological paintings. His work was important in spreading Caravaggio's innovative style in southern Italy and making him a major figure in the Neapolitan Baroque art scene. Outside Italy, the Utrecht Caaravagisti movement emerged in the early 17th century in Northern Europe as a significant artistic phenomenon. Utrecht's vibrant cultural scene and strong ties with Italy led many of its artists to travel to Rome, where they studied Caravaggio's works firsthand. They created powerful lifelike compositions, often featuring religious narratives and genre scenes, which were marked by dramatic lighting and vivid human expressions. This movement played a crucial role in spreading Caravaggio techniques in Northern Europe and contributed to the development of Dutch Baroque art. The movement focused on everyday scenes, like card players and musicians, and used it to show the lively and genuine aspects of daily life. They highlighted the richness of ordinary activities and made their paintings feel immediate and personal, connecting deeply with viewers. By combining dramatic lighting with careful attention to detail, they created scenes that were both relatable and engaging. The group adopted Caravaggio's chiaroscuro technique, which contrasts light and dark to create depth and drama. The stark contrasts of light and shadow made their everyday scenes more dynamic and engaging, bringing their subjects to life and making them feel closer to the viewer. Caravaggio's style of placing realistic figures in a small space was also adopted by the Caravaggisti artists. By placing figures in close quarters, artists could create a sense of intimacy and immediacy. The proximity of the figures also drew viewers into the scene, making them feel as though they were part of the action. From a religious context, Caravaggio's use of realistic figures in religious scenes was a revolutionary approach, and it brought a sense of immediacy and accessibility to religious subjects. By positioning their subjects close together and using dramatic lighting, they created a sense of dramatic interaction among the figures. While both Caravaggio and the Utrecht Caaravagisti shared a focus on realism and dramatic lighting, there were notable differences in their styles. Caravaggio's paintings often featured earthy tones and intense chiaroscuro, creating a somber and dramatic atmosphere. In contrast, the Utrecht Caaravagisti tended to use more light and bright colors in their works. The use of brighter hues and illuminated scenes made their works appear more lively and cheerful. Another key difference between the two lies in their patrons. Caravaggio's work was primarily commissioned by the Catholic Church in Italy, which sought dramatic and spiritual art to inspire and educate the faithful. His religious scenes often conveyed intense emotion and deep moral messages. On the other hand, the Utrecht Caaravagisti catered to the tastes of Northern European clients, who were mainly merchants and the emerging middle class. These patrons favored more secular themes, including scenes of everyday life, portraits, and genre paintings that reflected their own experiences and interests. Among the prominent members of the Utrecht Caaravagisti was Gerard van Honthorst. He was celebrated for his masterful use of chiaroscuro and lively nighttime scenes. After studying in Rome and being profoundly influenced by Caravaggio, he returned to Utrecht and became a leading figure in the city's artistic scene. His works often depicted biblical, mythological, and genre scenes with a dramatic interplay of light and shadow. Dirck van Baburen was another member of the group, known for his dynamic compositions and vibrant use of light and shadow. After studying in Rome, he brought the techniques he learned back to the Netherlands, where he became a leading figure in incorporating Caravaggio's depictions of human figures into Dutch art. His works often depicted mythological and biblical scenes as well as genre scenes such as musicians and card players. Matthias Stom was another Dutch painter who spent much of his career in Italy and became renowned for his adoption of Caravaggio's style. His works are characterized by their dramatic use of light and shadow, which he used to emphasize the emotional intensity and realism of his subjects. Stom's paintings often depicted religious and genre scenes infused with a profound sense of human emotion and naturalism. Hendrick Brugghen was another member of the group and one of the leading artists of the Dutch Golden Age. He used dramatic lighting and strong contrasts of light and dark to create a sense of depth and realism in his paintings. Brugghen often depicted religious and genre scenes, focusing on the emotional expressions and lifelike details of his subjects. In France, Georges de Latour emerged as a leading painter who was deeply influenced by Caravaggio's dramatic lighting and naturalism. His works often portrayed religious scenes and everyday life, with a remarkable emphasis on light and shadow that evoked a profound sense of intimacy and tranquility. His unique style established him as a central figure in the movement in France. Another important French Caravaggisti was Valentin de Boulogne, who moved to Italy in 1610 and became a prominent follower of Caravaggio. His style is characterized by realistic depictions of everyday people and emotionally charged scenes. He often painted religious and genre subjects, capturing moments of deep human experience with a sense of immediacy and vivid detail.